Hello friends, I am Arpit and I am here with today's analysis. Today is 16th of January and we are going to discuss three very important topics which are in news. The Davos Summit. It is an annual summit of the World Economic Forum, which is an NGO which aims to promote the public-private partnership at the global level. This happens in this city of Switzerland every year and which invites people from the governments all across the world, the business leaders and investors, the civil society members, the investors, and I would say the heads of multilateral organizations like the World Bank Group, IMF, WHO, and such like. The discussion is around the economic and social issues which are plaguing the world right now. This year, there are three topics which are, I would say, the headline of discussions: artificial intelligence, war, and climate change. All of these are impacting the lives of all the people on earth. That is why they will be discussed. Next is Mr. S. Shankar in Iran. S. Shankar is on a 2-day visit to Iran where he is meeting the ministers, like he has met the Minister of External Affairs, he has met the Secretary to the National Security Advisor's Office, then he has met the Minister for Shipping, Highways and Railways over there. Apart from it, he has also met the President of Iran. Key issues like the Chabahar port project that is under discussion. Then the safety from the Houthi rebels. Houthis are, said to be receiving support from Iran and they are stopping the cargo traffic in the Red Sea. These are the main issues which we have to be discussed. Next is Modi and Putin discuss the future roadmap. Actually, a phone call happened between these two leaders. This phone call was there preceded by a 5-day visit by Mr. S. Shankar during the end of December last year, that is December 2023. We share a special and privileged strategic partnership with Russia. We wanted to take it forward. That was discussed. Russia-Ukraine war was discussed. How to bring an end to this kind of war, which has been elongated. And other ways to enhance or deepen ties with respect to energy or investments in the far east of Russia, connectivity projects, that is International North-South Trade Corridor or Chennai-Vladivostok Maritime Corridor. All these were the points of discussion between these two prominent leaders. They also wished each other luck for the upcoming elections in their respective countries this year, that is 2024. So, these were the points of discussion. So let's get started with this Davos summit. The World Economic Forum holds this annual meeting every year in the city of Davos. Coincidentally, or I would say surprisingly, the headquarters of World Economic Forum is not in Davos. And every year this meeting happens in Davos. Davos is in Switzerland. The headquarters of WEF is also in Switzerland. We will see where it is. Now, this meeting is happening from January 15 to January 19. The meeting is attended by government officials, business owners and investors, members of multilateral forums like World Bank, IMF, WHO, etc., members of the civil society, economists, celebrities, among others. There are some people who pay for this event and some people who are invited by WEF. Those people who pay are going with the objective of building connections over there. That is the only reason. Now, why they meet? They meet to discuss global issues. This year, 3 global issues. 1, that is war. 2nd, that is climate change. And 3rd, that is artificial intelligence, are among the hot topics which will be picked up for discussions. Now, about World Economic Forum. It is an international non-governmental organization, NGO, which promotes public-private partnership collaboration at the global level. Now, since it is an NGO, so there will be funding. How it is funding? The WEF is largely funded by its partnering corporations. These are generally the global enterprises with an annual turnover greater than $5 billion. So it brings into its panel top 1,000 companies of the world. And from those top 1,000 companies, whichever companies are valued more than $5 billion, they fund the operations of WEF. Now, headquarters, it is in Cologne, Canton of Geneva, Switzerland. It is also headquarters is in Switzerland, but Davos is not the headquarters. UPSC can, portray questions like these, and then you can get swayed away and mark Davos as the headquarters. That is not the headquarters. Now, who found WEF? Now, there was a German professor, Klaus Schwab, founded WEF in the year 1971. Now, Klaus Schwab was basically a professor in an American university, and he was very much inspired by the American management services or management ways. He wanted to introduce those management techniques in Europe. For that purpose, he formulated this particular organization, and at that time it was known as European Management Forum. Later, other issues like in those era, there was an Arab-Israel war that happened. That was under discussion. Then the I would say crisis in the Middle East, that was discussed because they were impacting the economies of the global countries or the globe entirely. So the name was also changed later on from European Management Forum to World Economic Forum, and it introduced the concept of stakeholder capitalism. That is something which is needed to know, that what is stakeholder capitalism. Capitalism, to everyone should know, but yes, I'll again give you a glimpse of what capitalism is. It is that way of life, or that, I would say, ideology in which profit maximization is the ultimate goal with investments. Private players, private individuals, they invest their money with the goal of maximizing the profit. That is the main aim of capitalism. So there is private ownership also, there is maximization of profit also over there. Now, what is stakeholder capitalism? We need to understand this. According to Klaus Schwab, he was the founder of WEF. So what he says, it is a form of capitalism in which companies do not only optimize short-term profits for shareholders, but seek long-term value creation by taking into account the needs of all their stakeholders and society at large. Means not only of the shareholders, they will be concerned of shareholders, they will definitely benefit from the profit maximization. But yes, all the people directly or indirectly related with the company, they should get benefited, and for a long term they should get benefited. Let's suppose, I open a company in an area where I have multiple shareholders in my company grows, so my shareholders will definitely grow. But, the employees working in my company, the vendors associated with my company, the local area or the local society which I will be creating an impact upon, that all should be there. That concept is called as stakeholder capitalism. I should not be focusing only on my profit or my shareholders' profit. I should be, enhancing my ambit of benefits to others as well. Now, the WEF website, what does it claim stakeholder capitalism is? A company should serve all its stakeholders, not just its shareholders. Stakeholders, employees, suppliers, and the community it is part of. All these should get benefited, not only the shareholders. This is something which needs to be understood, that what is stakeholder capitalism. Now, what else has happened at Davos annual summits? Okay, by now we've got to know that this is a platform or a meeting where people from the governments come, businesses come, investors come, celebrities come, or members of multilateral organizations come, or members of the civil society come and attend this meeting. There are around 3,000 people who are attending this summit this year. But what has been its significance? Why is it such a big ticket event? Because in the past, certain, I would say, developments have happened at these summits, and that those developments have shaped the, I would say, world politics or world economics after that. We'll see what kind of developments have happened in the previous Davos summits. Like, for example, in the past, it has been used as a location for pivotal international diplomacy, as leaders can break tensions in the town. Now, WF website says that North and South Korea, which are considered to be arch rivals, they held their first ministerial level meeting in Davos during the, I would say, summit. At the same meeting, East German Prime Minister Hans Modrow and German Chancellor Helmut Kohl, They met to discuss German reunification. German reunification happened during the end of Cold War, late 1980s. So Germany was divided. West Germany was capitalist, East Germany was socialist. Towards USSR it was. So unification of Germany is considered to be a landmark event which is there in the Cold War era. So that all happened over here in this Davos annual summit. Then in 1992, South African President de Klerk met Nelson Mandela and Zulu Prince Mangosuthu Buthelezi. Now, Nelson Mandela was fighting, I would say, an elongated struggle against racism in Africa. And, there was this meeting held over here in Davos between the South African president and Nelson Mandela itself. Okay. So that was a landmark event and a milestone in the country's political transition it was. In 1998, participants of this Davos summit emphasized the need to include major developing countries in the process. One idea was to set up a body to include 20 countries, half developed economies and the other half developing ones. Now, this all happened in 1998 January. In the very same year, 1998, a meeting was held among these top 20 countries in Bonn, Germany, and this grouping came to be known as none other than G20. Now, we all know what G20 is, group of 20. But yes, if we go into the history of G20, at that time in 1998, when this meeting was happening in Bonn, only the finance ministers and the central bank governors were part of this group. Later on, in 2008, after the financial crisis in USA, the heads of the state or head of the government also started meeting. And it slowly and gradually, this G20 culminated into a summit format, and now G20 summits happen. And these are very, very important, as we could see from this year's G20 summit, which was hosted by India. This year's means last year's, 2023. Next is S. Shankar in Iran. He's on a 2-day visit to Iran. He has met the president of Iran, which you can see on the screen. The president of Iran is Mr. Ibrahim Raisi. He conveyed the Prime Minister Narendra Modi's greetings, also seeking Raisi's guidance on further development of ties. Mr. S. Shankar also met Foreign Minister, Secretary of National Security Council and Minister of Roads and Urban Development. Also, Foreign Minister, because he is his counterpart, so definitely he'll be meeting him. The Secretary to the National Security Council to discuss the activities of Houthis in the Red Seas. It is believed that Houthis are supported by Iran. And, the Minister of Road and Urban Development to discuss the Chabahar port projects. Chabahar port is, I would say, a crucial port which we will see, which India is developing, one of the terminals of that Chabahar port in Iran. So, all these were under discussion by Mr. S. Shankar in Iran. But before getting into this, we need to understand one thing very clearly about Iran, the importance of Iran. If you don't get the importance of Iran, then, it will be kind of half-hearted that you will be, this topic will not be, I would say, justified. Now, West Asia is where Iran is. And West Asia is a very complicated region. There is a triangle in West Asia. However, this triangle is not a standard format. It is just, I would say, my way of explaining it. It makes things easier for you guys, as I feel. Now, on one node of this triangle is the Sunni countries. Sunni countries, we have UAE, we have Saudi Arabia, we have Qatar, we have Egypt, and we have Palestinians also. Palestinians are also Sunni Muslims. Then on the other side we have Shias. Iran is a Shia I would say, country, Shia dominated country, apart from Iran as a country. It is a Shia country, but yes, there are some, I would say, militia groups which are Shias, like for example Hezbollah in Lebanon, Houthis in Yemen, there is a historical conflict between Sunnis and Shias. We all know that. Then the third node is the Jews. And we all know that Jews are Israel. So since Israelis or the Jews displaced the Palestinians to form Israel as a country, there is conflict on this line also. USA is an all-time ally of Jews, and Iran and USA, they are not at good terms. Hence, Iran and Israel are also not at good terms with each other. So, technically speaking, there is conflict on this line between the Sunnis and the Jews. Between the Sunnis and the Shias, there is this historical conflict. Between the Jews and the Shias, there is conflict. And in all that, we have to strike a balance. Now, in 2020, the Abraham Accords were signed. USA basically brokered Abraham Accords between Israel and UAE. Apart from UAE, I would say Bahrain was also there. So UAE, Bahrain and Israel, they put to rest their conflict and got into, I would say, diplomatic relations with each other. Then when it comes to Sunnis and Shias, China actually struck a peace deal between Saudi Arabia and Iran. And this happened in 2023. So China's presence over here in both these countries, Iran or Saudi Arabia, has increased. India, where is India? Actually, India is nowhere in striking a peace deal like USA or China. These are the two most powerful countries. So they have, or the two most, I would say, advanced economies. So they have done these kind of activities because China, it sees itself at par with USA. So USA did that in 2020, Abraham Accords. China also did not want to stay out of the equation in West Asia, so it also came. Now, this is good for us, and hence in 2021 there was a grouping formed known as I2U2. I2 means Israel, India. U2 means USA and UAE. Israel and UAE, USA already brokered a peace deal between them, and India also entered here 1 year later and formed this grouping. India's role was nowhere in Abraham Accords as such, but yes, India entered into a grouping I2U2 a year later after the Abraham Accords. Here, the position for India is challenging a bit because our arch rival China has increased its geostrategic footprint over here among these countries, Saudi Arabia or Iran. That is why it becomes important to increase our presence also in Iran, and if we do not do so, then China will definitely take the lead. It has already taken the lead, but yes, we should also look forward for engaging or increasing our engagements with Iran. So that is the importance of, I would say, going and increasing ties with Iran. Now, the major outcomes of the meeting or this visit discuss the issue in West Asia. Mr. S. Shankar, West Asia, there is this conflict going on in West Asia. Israel is against the Palestinians, and Palestinians are getting support of Houthis and the Hezbollah, which are Shias. Palestinians are Sunnis, and Houthis and I would say Hezbollah are Shias. They are getting the support of these two Shia militias. So that is the changing equation in West Asia. And we have said that there is a visible humanitarian crisis in, I would say, Gaza. And we want, I would say, all end to these hostilities. We want a solution to the war. We also appreciated the global community which is coming forward to, I would say, in doing efforts in the direction of stopping the war. India has delivered shipments of relief material to Gaza and contributed to the UNRWA, United Nations Reliefs and Works Association, for the Palestinian people, for the displaced Palestinian people. So this UNRWA is specifically for the Palestinians. So we have definitely supported them. Why we are all saying this in Iran? Because the changing equation in West Asia, the triangle which I made, Iran over here, I would say Palestinians over here, the Sunni Muslims, and the Jews over here, Israel. Now with Iran we have Hezbollah and we have the Houthis. They are all Shias. That is why they are getting Iran's support. They are coming in support of the Palestinians. That is why the Houthis have done that thing in Red Sea. Hezbollah is constantly firing upon the Israeli defense forces from the northern side. Lebanon is in the north. So there is growing solidarity between this particular leg. And we went there in Iran and we said that no, we are there with the Palestinians. We have supported them. We have given them support through UNRWA. There is a visible humanitarian crisis and there needs to be an end of this. India has a long-standing and upcoming an uncompromising position against terrorism in all forms and manifestations. Why we said this? We said this because last week or last to last week there were bombings in Iran where multiple people died, and bombing is an act of terrorism. That is why, expressing our condolences to the Iranians, we said that this terrorism is bad in all forms. We also talked about maritime threat. We said that should be speedily addressed. We knew that Iranians are supporting the Houthis. Houthis are creating problems in the Red Sea. And we went there in Iran and we clearly said that this issue should be speedily addressed. Because the Iranian-backed Yemen's Houthi rebels, they are causing these problems. And this is going to, I would say, hamper our energy imports. There is a statement coming from, I would say, noted economists from the World Economic Forum itself, stating that in India, the prices of energy imports are going to increase, or energy imports are getting or will get costlier due to this blockade in the Red Sea. Now on Chabahar port, what did we say on the Chabahar port? We reached a final agreement. That is some good news. This agreement was initiated in 2016 with Iran. The deal agreement aims to establish international transport and transit corridor in Chabahar. How this transport and transit corridor will be established, I will show you a bit. The construction of the Chabahar port and the construction of a rail line from Chabahar port to Zahedan are the major highlights of the project. So port, railway line from Chabahar to Zahedan, that is going to be connected. Now this is basically the Chabahar port. This is Chabahar port. From Chabahar to Zahedan, Zahedan is this place in Iran only, a railway line is getting constructed. India is constructing this railway line. Okay. And what is the importance of this Chabahar port? Actually, we get access to Afghanistan from here. We not only get access to Afghanistan, we also get, there is this international north-south trade corridor. Russia is here. This is Iran and this is India. These three countries initiated this international north-south trade corridor in the year 2000. So that is ending up over here. The name of the port is Bandar-e Abbas. We are wanting to link this Chabahar port with this international north-south trade corridor. This is also a port in Iran. This is also a port over here, Chabahar port. So we want to connect this. So which will increase our connectivity to Central Asia, countries like Russia, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, and all these are energy-rich countries. Apart from it, with the development of Chabahar port, we will be able to circumvent Pakistan over here. With the development of this Chabahar port, we will be able to nullify the string of pearls strategy which is being adopted by China. String of pearls, where one of the major port is Gwadar port. The China-Pakistan economic corridor which is coming and ending on Gwadar port over here is like this. So we will be able to nullify China's presence also. That is why Chabahar port is so important. So this is in the Sistan Balochistan province of Iran on the Gulf of Oman at the mouth of Strait of Hormuz. This particular port is a deep water port with direct access to the Indian Ocean. And there are two separate ports over here, Shahid Beheshti and Shahid Kalantari. India is developing Shahid Beheshti. That needs to be understood. Shahid Beheshti plus this railway line from Chabahar to Zahedan. Zahedan, a place on the Afghanistan-Iran-Pakistan border. So our presence will increase over here. That is the significance of this port. And last piece of news, Modi and Putin discuss the future roadmap of the partnership between India and Russia. The partnership is termed as Special and Privileged Strategic Partnership. We'll learn what strategic partnership is, but yes, first look into the timeline. In the year 2000, India and Russia entered into a strategic partnership. In 2010, that is 10 years down the line, this strategic partnership was upgraded to Special and Privileged Strategic Partnership. We will understand what strategic partnership is and then what Special and Privileged Strategic Partnership is. Now, the concept of strategic partnership. Now, when two countries, they are in partnership with each other, so it is quite natural that on multiple domains they will be integrating with each other. Like economic cooperation will be there, trade and investment will be there, cultural cooperation will be there, energy cooperation. Like we've taken a lot of, I would say, presently Russia is the largest supplier of oil, so energy cooperation. Russia has also helped us develop our nuclear power program in the country. So, energy cooperation, technological cooperation, joint development of technology or technology transfer in the context of defense and all is there between India and Russia. So, all these are there. But yes, security cooperation. This is a necessary element. This should be there, then only the partnership will be called as strategic partnership. Now, what does security cooperation mean? Does it mean that if someone attacks India, Russia on India's behalf will attack that country? No. We will be having defense trade with Russia, we will be having military exercises with Russia, intelligence sharing agreements with Russia and such like. That is what security cooperation means. So, strategic partnership is that kind of partnership which has multiple dimensions with a necessary dimension of security cooperation with each other. Now, we entered into strategic partnership with Russia in 2010. 2000. And in 2010, special and privileged strategic partnership. Special and privileged means there are some, I would say, technologies which, or I would say, defense technologies to be particular, that Russia will only be sharing with India and no one else, no other country. We are jointly developing certain defense products like BrahMos missile is a testament to this. So, our strategic partnership is special and privileged. It is like this. Energy cooperation, like when this Russia-Ukraine war started, Russia started giving us oil at discounted price, and that level of discount Russia was offering no other country, which it was offering India. Special and privileged strategic partnership, which is part of energy cooperation. So, this concept needs to be understood and why we call our partnership special and privileged strategic partnership. Now, major areas of discussion, the future roadmap of India-Russia ties has to be chalked out. maybe very special strategic, a very special and privileged strategic partnership. Some tag this might the leaders might be thinking, or they might be thinking to upgrade their partnership further. Now, BRICS presidency this year, 2024, Russia is the president of BRICS, and India has extended all its support to Russia during its presidency. That India said that we will be there supporting you in the BRICS presidency. Then achievements in practical cooperation in areas such as trade, economic, scientific and technical cooperation, energy, transport and logistics, and cooperation in Russian Far East were noted with satisfaction. They were all discussed since strategic partnership encompasses all of them. Both the leaders wished each other success in the upcoming elections. There are elections in Russia. I don't know what level of elections or what I would say level of freedom people in Russia have in voting. But in India, there are general elections this year. So they wish them good luck. The leaders also touched on several other international issues, such as the situation around Ukraine. And coincidentally, a day before, I would say yesterday this call happened. Day before yesterday, it was discussed in Davos. I would say the World Economic Forum, which is happening over there, the annual summit. The national security advisors of 80 countries met and discussed the peace formula for Ukraine. Many countries in the world, including the host, Switzerland, asserted that India can play a key leveraging role due to its relations with Russia in bringing end to this war. Since we have a very special and privileged strategic partnership, people are looking towards us. And the way we delivered in the G20 summit this year, people are looking towards us. That you can bring a positive end to this war. Let's see. If India does, then definitely we can call ourselves Wish Guru as well, because it is we who have convinced to end this war which is concerning one and all. So this needs to be understood in this way. Now with this, come to an end of today's session. I will be meeting you tomorrow now with more such informative news pieces. Till then, you guys very well know what to do. Keep studying, keep reading, keep writing, and most importantly, keep revising. Namaste. Jai Hind.